Thank you very much. We are so delighted to be here. And we're going to go ahead and start with a welcome to the delegation by the mayor of Belle Glade. Vice Mayor of Belle Glade, Joaquin Almazan.
Good afternoon, Chairman Harrell, Vice Chairman Costello, and members of the delegation. We are pleased to welcome you and thank you for your dedication and service to the people of the Glades region, particularly to the Belle Glade community. I would like to extend my sincere appreciation for your hard work and commitment through the years towards lifting this area out of poverty and moving us towards becoming an economically thriving and autonomous region. We desperately need to continue repairing our city streets, improving our drainage and safety issues within along our roadways, including sidewalks, improvements to our community with opportunities to improve their health and quality of life. Briefly and respectfully requesting your support for 6 life and healthy projects that include H1 Basin storm water improvements. This project is project ready and identifies the city storm master water, addresses flooding, water control improvements projects, as well as for reducing accidents, safer transportation, protection of property, with repair and replacement for old failing storm water infrastructure. Reduction of the total maximum daily loads of pollutants, phosphorus, and nitrogen would be achieved with improved piping, baffle boxes, water quality components with installation of water quality and other quantity components. Funding request for this is $1.650. Number 2 is demolition of derelict structures, buildings, special magistrate approved demolition of identity structures, projects provide for protection of the general public, removal of unsafe hazardous buildings and structures. Number 3 is sidewalk replacement, approximately 9,500 square linear feet replacements have been identified. Number 4 is roadways resurfacing that consists of approximately 2.7955 miles on 18 streets for funding requests. The city also did a home rehab grant program that we did with our Biden money. Let me just put it that way, and it was a great success. We did 51 homes and at $25,000 to each homeowner, addressing old homes with ADA accessibility, electrical, plumbing, windows, HVAC, and fencing and other needs. We have done 51 homes and we have 153 pending. So we're looking for help in this critical housing grant program to address fracture of the homeowners within city limits for our senior citizens age 65 and older. And our last project is a community swimming pool and backsplash. This is a shovel-ready project. The city has invested and designed. The city needs a facility that can offer a structured community program, including drowning prevention skills and techniques, healthcare related and adequate class programs, swimming lessons, and competitive scholastic aquatic sports. Additionally, there's backup information in your packets, including in our packets. The city supports the county improvement of 880 projects funding agency. This road is critical for our farmers. Our harvest season just begun and the city just recently passed a resolution, but it's also a safety for our residents out here. It's another access to the East Coast here for the Glades community, and it's very vital. This road has been neglected. I mean, it's just a bad road, neglected for years, and to bring it up to today's standards is a big cost, and we're asking you for working with the county for that support. The words thank you do not begin to represent our deep and helpful gratitude for your dedication and commitment with your assistance in moving us forward and participation for a brighter future. We appreciate your support, your sponsorship and your support. Thank you. And I just want to thank you for coming out here. You see how beautiful it is here today in Belle Glade with the great weather and atmosphere. Please enjoy it. Please come back out next Friday for the Tri-Cities Barbecue. Should be another beautiful day to live and breathe out here in the Glades community that I'm gratefully born and raised here and proud to be calling my home. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. And members, you do have a detailed packet here with all the information that Mr. Almazan presented. Thank you so very much. And next we'll have a welcome from Douglas Crane, the Director of Palm Beach County Library System.
Well, good afternoon, members of the delegation. It's a pleasure to have you here at the Belle Glade branch of the Palm Beach County Library System. I know I've had the honor to personally give many of our delegation members a tour, and if you haven't had that opportunity, the invitation is open and extended again today. So if you'd like to reach out, happy to do so. First of all, just a quick background on the library system. We are a Department of County Government here, reporting up to our Board of County Commissioners. We cover about 2/3 of the geography of Palm Beach County, with the remaining third of the county being covered by municipal libraries, although we have a cooperative agreement with almost everyone. So pretty much everyone who you serve in your district is able to use the county library system. This particular building you're in today, our Belle Glade branch, was made possible through a 2002 voter-approved bond initiative that allowed us to do our second expansion program. This building was opened 10 years ago, and it is really one of the gems in our system. In fact, we have some of the most beautiful examples of public art here, or in public places. The signature pieces are 2 giant murals. If you walk into the building, you'll see them high up on the wall, depicting the
Start down at this end, Representative Edmonds, at the very end there. I see you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. It is an honor to be here in the Glades, community not just rich in soil, but rich in people and culture. My name is Representative Javante Edmonds. I'm proud to serve District 88, which covers Lake Park, Riviera Beach, West Palm Beach, Mangonia Park, and Royal Palm Beach. The way Senator Gale talked about that food today, it sounds like you guys had a second Thanksgiving. Sorry I missed that. But I'm excited to be here today. I also want to recognize my legislative assistant who's here today, Graham Wise. If you could just wave. Anything you all may have concerns with, feel free to reach out to him. Thank you.
Thank you. Representative Roth.
Good afternoon to everybody. To the delegation, welcome to my hometown of Belglade. I actually grew up and spent 11 years of school living in a house about 300 yards from here. It's called Northwest 4th Street. This was Belglade Junior High over here, and Belglade High School was up on Canal Street. I do tell people that I was born in West Palm because I was born in Good Samaritan Hospital, but this is where I grew up. I was the last graduating class of Belglade High School in 1970. It really is a pleasure to be back out here today. We did have a great lunch thanks to Farm Bureau at the Research Center, and we had some of that good sweet corn. It's always a pleasure to be out here, and we know we're going to hear the brutal, honest, this is what we need when we come out to the Glades. We have real folks. This is a tight-knit community, and I'm so pleased to be able to represent them. This is part of my District 94. I took over this part of the district in 2022 from my good Representative Kelly Skidmore, and it's my pleasure to serve. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Joe Casello. I'm the state representative for District 90, which encompasses Boynton Beach and Delray, so this is a little ride for me. I apologize for being a little tardy. I just underestimated how long it gets to get here. I'd like to introduce my two aides. I have Brian Bees, my district aide, and I got Troy Ross, my legislative aide. These are the two people that make the office run and tick. It's nice to be here. You got a beautiful, beautiful area out here, and I was caught by the little tagline on your welcome to Belglade thing, where the soil is its soul. I think that's pretty good. I'd like to get something like that for Boynton Beach. So thank you for having us here.
I'm State Senator Gail Harrell. I represent District 31, which is the northern part of Palm Beach County, going all the way out to Pahokee. So I do have a good section of the Glades, and I am so delighted to represent part of the Glades. I come all the way down to Palm Beach PGA Boulevard, to go out to Military Trail, then south on Military to North Lake. It's kind of a stair step, then North Lake over to the Turnpike, then south to Southern, and then all the way out. So it's kind of a jig and a jag. I also represent Martin County and parts of St. Lucie County. So you think it was a long drive for you. And we got a little lost. But I'm delighted to be here, and I want to introduce my aide, Karen Sweeney, in the back. She handles all my policy issues. Carrie Lira handles all my funding issues, and I know there's lots of funding issues and money. So Carrie is the one to speak to. She couldn't be with us today. And then Ann Boldock is my district aide. So I'm delighted to be here, and yes, you missed a good lunch, let me tell you. All grown here locally, so. Representative Skidmore.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Kelly Skidmore. I represent District 92, which is parts of unincorporated Palm Beach County in Boca Raton, Delray Beach, and Boynton Beach. As Rep. Roth said, I previously represented the district out here when I was District 81, but through redistricting and the maps being redrawn, I no longer represent you, but my heart is here and always will be. I'm happy to sponsor and work on your appropriations that are so needed out here. And I always love coming out. It's always does our hearts and our lungs good to breathe the fresh air out here. With me today are my aides, Dr. Gwen Gonzalez and Amy Chamberlain. Thanks again for having us.
Senator Berman.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm Senator Lori Berman. I represent District 26. And I have both from Boca Raton to here in Belglade. We go Boca Raton, Delray, Boynton Beach, cut over, take in Wellington, and then go all the way west along on the south side of Southern Boulevard. So I have Belglade and South Bay. Happy to be here in my district and pleased to represent this area. I have today my aide, the Berman Bunch is here. We have Courtney Jones, Sophia Cabej, and Brenda Bryant, who is actually here in the Glades. We have an office in the Career Service building, and glad to be with all of you.
Representative Waldron.
Thank you. I'm Representative Waldron. I represent District 93, which is Wellington, unincorporated Lake Worth, and part of Green Acres. And I used to represent this area when I was Port Commissioner, because it actually the district actually comes all the way out here. So it's great to see some familiar faces. I'd also like to say that if you haven't taken the library tour, Doug gives a great tour. I've toured 2 of the libraries so far. It's not the same library I grew up with. It's a lot more advanced. And I'm looking forward to, we have some of my constituents are here who are going to be speaking later about property rights, and I'm looking forward to seeing them, and thank you guys for coming.
Thank you.
My district aide is Roselle back there, and she's also doubling temporarily as my legislative aide, so she's kind of busy.
Busy lady, yes. And last but certainly not least, Representative Gossett-Seidman.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm Peggy Gossett-Seidman. I incorporate the little southeast corner of the county, District 91. It's Boca Raton, Highland Beach, and southwest Palm Beach County. We do have a little sliver of ag there. It's quickly disappearing due to housing taking over, and sadly to see some of these U-pick farms go. But we still have some ag there. And I did graduate from an ag college, Michigan State. So when I get out to this region, where I visited many times when my kids were playing sports and they competed out here, it's just very homey feeling to come out to Belglade and Pahokee, though I know that's your rival in the Muck Bowl. So thank you. Love the Muck Bowl. So thank you for having us, and it's an honor to be here.
Thank you so very much. We're delighted to have you. Are there any other local elected officials here? I don't want to miss anybody who might be a local elected. No.
Oh, Chair,
Okay, yes.
if I could come back in, and I forgot to mention
yes.
my aide, Ben Palmer, is here, my legislative aide. Thank you.
Wonderful.
Sorry, Ben.
They do all the hard work for us, right? We appreciate them being here. And I wanted to remind anybody who wants to watch this again, should you want to see yourself on TV if you're speaking, you can always see us on the Palm Beach County TV station, and also Comcast, which is available on Comcast 20 and the AT&T Channel 99, and it's streamed 24 hours a day. So you can just look up the delegation meeting, and you can make sure you check in anything you need to know about it. Now, we are going to have quite a few presenters today. Since we're not doing the Indian River Trails local bill, we will go ahead and start with that. So, and I'd like to remind everybody, there is 3 minutes. We have a clock over here that will kind of give you a notice at 30 seconds, and we won't start screaming at you till you get over the 3 minutes. So just want to let everybody know, let's keep it so everybody has an opportunity to speak. And if you would like to, if you have not already done so and you're not on the agenda, you are most welcome to speak at the end if you fill out a comment card and hand it to our aide over here. So we will make sure that you have the opportunity. We don't want anybody to be missed who would like to speak to the delegation. And with that, we will go ahead and start. We will start with Rachel Von Lauren, who's the Director of the Government and Relations for Comcast.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning, or is it good afternoon?
No.
Good afternoon, gosh, yes. The day has gone by. And I do miss that luncheon, just so you're aware. I'm very jealous right now. I do just want to briefly address you all on a couple quick things, one of which is saying thank you. A couple years ago, and also actually it was enforced last year, was the Office of Broadband, through which is now considered the Department of Florida Commerce, or Department of Commerce through the state. And through those dollars, Many ISPs have been able to go out and bid on many areas in the unserved, underserved areas of, one of which being Palm Beach County. So we want to say thank you to you all for your assistance with that. We did bid for a location out here in Belle Glade, and we hope to hear back from the department. What we were told was December 15th. So I would be more than happy to speak with any one of you about the areas in which we've been awarded in prior grants, but we are awaiting the final ruling on the Broadband Opportunity Program Round 2. So also, there are local technology planning teams through every county, and I'd love for you all to maybe have a conversation with them in some regard to identify with your community and constituents the areas that you deem to be necessary with expansion of broadband. We have a thing at Comcast called Project Up, Up meaning unlimited possibilities, and we have a commitment through 10 years. We've committed $1 billion for digital navigation, providing laptops, things to that degree to bridge the digital divide. So I just want to share a little bit about that, as well as our Team Up efforts. Many of you may know that we used to have Comcast Cares. There's one day per year that we went out and we volunteered. Now we're doing it in very small increments called Team Up events. So if there are any nonprofits or entities that you believe need some volunteers, let me know. I'm more than happy to come and assist with that and provide volunteers from our company. Lastly, you were provided a flyer. It's relating to what we call our Internet Essentials and Internet Essentials Plus program. It's in conjunction with the Affordable Connectivity Program to some degree. My ask to you is for you to talk to your congressional members, your respective congressional members, and those in Congress requesting a continuation of this Affordable Connectivity Program for those individuals who need internet in their homes. So it's an affordable way. It's a $30 credit if you qualify, whether you're a WIC recipient, SNAP, Medicaid, Pell Grant students, veteran pension benefit recipient, Social Security income benefit recipient. So long story short, the Internet Essentials is $29.95 per month, and with that $30 credit with the ACP, it's essentially free. So that includes a modem, free connectivity in that regard. So would love to have more conversations with you in the future. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Right on time. Good for you. Next, and I'm going to announce two people in a row so that you can get ready. If you haven't seen the list, it's on the agenda. Next, we'll have Erin Kozlowski, who's the Chief Development Officer for Gulfstream Goodwill Industries, followed by Sabrina Barnes. You're recognized.
Thank you. Good afternoon. My name is Erin Kozlowski, Chief Development Officer for Gulfstream Goodwill. When most people think about Goodwill, they think about the retail stores. However, what most people do not know is the story behind the stores. Goodwill is a nonprofit. It was created 120 years ago in Boston using secondhand goods to fund mission services. Today, Gulfstream Goodwill is the largest health and human services provider in the Palm Beaches and the Treasure Coast. Every year, we help over 7,500 people towards a pathway out of poverty. Our services include 4 homeless shelters with 300 shelter beds, 200 units of supportive housing, our charter school, and 2 adult day programs with over 250 people with intellectual disabilities. Goodwill provides placement and jobs and housing to the people coming through our shelters and who have ID. Our motto is a hand up, not a hand out, through the dignity of a paycheck. 93 cents of every $1 raised in our stores go directly to our mission services. However, since the pandemic, our store revenue is no longer sufficient. We used to have adult day training programs for people with ID in every county, but we had to scale back to 2 counties, only Palm Beach and St. Lucie. Our plan for the 2024-25 fiscal year is to sustain our ID services and also create affordable housing for our Glades shelter guests in Palm Beach County. The following year, in 2025-26, we will begin to duplicate our efforts to have ID programs and housing for our workforce in Palm Beach County and up through the Treasure Coast. Over the next 5 years, we will focus on 1 county per year to expand our services across our 5-county territory up through Indian River County. We have 2 requests. The first is for $500,000 for employment through APD appropriations. This funding will serve 250 individuals with ID, providing job training and employment where they earn a prevailing wage. Our second request is for $2 million for housing through DEO appropriations. This funding will support 54 people, including families and senior citizens who are currently living in our 2 homeless shelters here in the Glades. Affordable housing means that our shelter guests and our Goodwill workforce will no longer be the victims of predatory landlords. Goodwill employment impacts more than our workforce. Our workforce in Palm Beach County includes 21 locations and 190 employees. It means that the Palm Beach County community has 190 less people who need taxpayer dollars. This can translate into a savings of approximately $13,000 per person per year, or over $2.4 million in total per year. Please help us to expand our services over the next 5 years as we are scaling to meet the needs of the most vulnerable people in the community. Thank you for your time and for your consideration.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Representative Casella, you have a question.
Goodwill does some great work. Can I just ask you, who's bringing your appropriation request forward? Is it?
Representative Mike Caruso is sponsoring it at this time.
Okay, great, thank you.
Thank you. Next, we'll hear from Sabrina Barnes, the Executive Director of Children's Home Society, followed by Lynn Rogut, League of Women Voters of Palm Beach County. You're recognized.
Good afternoon, delegation members. I am Sabrina Barnes, and on behalf of Children's Home Society of Florida, I want to thank you so much for the $11 million appropriation for our community partnership schools during the 2023 legislative session. The $11 million funding supports 36 community partnership schools in Florida, including right here in Palm Beach County, we have Lake Worth High School and JFK Middle School. With the additional funds, 8 more schools were just announced this fiscal year. That means thousands of more students will be positively impacted by this innovative model. This model pulls together 4 core partners: the local school district, which would be Palm Beach County Schools. Children's Home Society is the not-for-profit organization. Our healthcare partner here in Palm Beach is the Healthcare District of Palm Beach County. And the college partner involved in this collaboration is the Florida Atlantic University. These partners have come together to make a long-term commitment and investment in the students, and this commitment starts with a 25-year memorandum of understanding. We know that for many students, school needs to become more than just a place to learn, but a hub that serves as a resource for our students, their parents, and the community with opportunities for expanded learning and addressing the needs to access health care, including mental health services. We are proud of the impact we're having on students in these schools by removing barriers to their education. Positive impacts include higher test scores, less disciplinary referrals, greater teaching retention, stronger parent engagement, and so much more. We are requesting this year $8.3 million for the 2024 session to continue to expand this proven model and impact more students, their families, our communities, and we ask for your continued support. Addressing the needs and challenges to children and families before a crisis occurs is a priority for Children's Home Society of Florida. Another item we ask for your consideration includes the very successful child abuse prevention program, Healthy Families. This year, Healthy Families is celebrating 25 years of helping children and families stay healthy and safe and not enter the foster care system. Last session, the legislature provided $2 million in needed funds to help stabilize our critical workforce, and we are so very much appreciative of that. However, we are asking that those funds be made reoccurring so that we can continue to support our team, our mission of keeping kids and families stronger together. I want to thank you for your time, your enthusiasm to serve our state, and for your consideration in our priorities. We look forward to working closely with all of you in the next legislative session.
Thank you.
Thank
Very
you.
good. Thank you very much. Any questions? members. Thank you. And next we'll hear from Lynn Rogut, the League of Women Voters, followed by Christine Sylvain.
Good afternoon. My name is Lynn Rogut, and I'm delighted to be here with you this afternoon, representing the League of Women Voters of Palm Beach County, which, as you know, is a nonpartisan organization, but we do take positions on issues. Our ask today is a simple one, and we're asking for your support for Medicaid expansion. And here's why. Florida continues to have one of the highest numbers of uninsured residents, third only to Texas and California. Yet over the past decade, there has been opposition to expanding Medicaid as a key strategy for closing the coverage gap for people with low income. 40 states and the District of Columbia have successfully expanded their Medicaid programs and accepted federal funds to cover the working poor, childless adults, and others. In those states, Medicaid expansion increased both insurance coverage, access to health care services, and connections to care. For example, having a personal doctor or using preventive services. Sadly, Florida has yet to join the vast majority of states to start closing the coverage gap by expanding Medicaid. The League of Women Voters of Palm Beach County is hoping that 2024 will be the year that we can turn this around and expand coverage in Florida. The federal government does not require states to make a permanent commitment to expanding Medicaid, but consider that not one of the 40 states that have adopted expansion has subsequently withdrawn. Per the Kaiser Family Foundation, currently there are 726,000 Floridians that fall into the coverage gap. According to the Florida Policy Institute, the number of Floridians without health insurance is closer to 1 million. This includes some veterans and many low-income working Floridians who earn too much to qualify for standard Medicaid, but not enough to be eligible to purchase subsidized marketplace health insurance, thus the gap. The federal government pays 90% of the cost of expanding Medicaid. These funds would not only bring our taxpayer dollars back to Florida, but they would also add jobs to the local healthcare industry. Senate President Passidomo recently stated that her focus for this upcoming session's agenda is on health care. Representative Joel Rudman, a family physician, says it's time Florida takes a serious look at expanding Medicaid. We hope that includes a plan to provide health insurance for working Floridians who do not currently qualify. Because, to quote the great Martin Luther King, of all the forms of inequality, injustice in healthcare is the most shocking and inhumane. Thanks for your consideration, and we did provide a one-pager with additional information.
Thank you. Any questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next, we'll hear from Christine Sylvain, CEO, Path to College, followed by Drew Martin.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Madam Chair. It's an honor to be here today. My name is Christine Sylvain. I am the CEO and founder of Path to College. And today I'm here to talk to you about college access in Palm Beach County. As you all well know, the Path to College and getting a college degree allows our students to earn $1 million more in their lifetime. And I believe it's one of the best economic drivers and methods of economic advancement that we have. Currently in the county, we have a 90% graduation rate from high school, which is wonderful. And according to our census, we have a 37% degree rate. Unfortunately, this degree rate changes based on your socioeconomic status. And so our work at Path to College is highly focused on helping students from overlooked and under-resourced backgrounds get the mentoring, tutoring, and leadership development they need to be the candidates for college who can get full-ride scholarships and be on a path to success and career. And so with that, I am putting forward and wanting you all to know that there are more challenges coming for students on their path to college, challenges that will make it more difficult to secure funding, and those challenges are coming down from the federal government through the FAFSA. FAFSA is changing, our federal application for free scholarship aid. It is changing, and parents are now going to be required to have their own accounts to apply for this necessary funding in conjunction with the student application, which, as you can imagine, in communities of disadvantage will create a lot more difficulty when we're already trying to deal with the digital divide. I anticipate that we will see numbers that are already decreasing in low-income communities to continue to decrease. And so as part of our work at Path to College, we work with low-income students, and we have an amazing track record. 100% of our graduates in our 3-year flagship program have gotten into 4-year schools, 60% with full ride scholarships. And today I'm here to ask you for your support in supporting our appropriations request to receive funding for us to open our first center so that we can expand our services and open our doors to every student in Palm Beach County for their college and career guidance needs. Many of these students who come from overlooked communities have the ability to get into college. They just need that extra push, the loving care and guidance, and that's exactly what we'll do every day after school, right down the street from Lake Worth Community High School. We are very grateful to the Lake Worth Beach CRA, who has offered us the use of a 5,000 square foot building for free, and we are very grateful to Representative Caruso and Senator Powell, who are co-sponsoring our appropriations request for only $500,000 in order to do the tenant improvements and build out to launch the center. So thank you very much for your time today.
Madam Chair.
Question, you're recognized.
Thank you, Ms. Sylvain, for your presentation. I've had the honor to know you since the inception of your program, and I think you do amazing work.
Thank you.
You talked about some of your statistics sending kids to college. Could you just elaborate on the schools you send your kids to, because it's not
Absolutely.
the average day college?
Thank you so much for the question, Representative Edmonds. It's wonderful to see you up there. So again, I believe in the greatest potential of kids in overlooked communities, and our work centers on helping them launch as far down that trajectory of success as possible. And we've been able to secure the acceptance and full ride scholarships of students from difficult backgrounds to schools like Harvard, Cornell, Emory, Stanford, Northwestern, UF, FSU, and and more. And most importantly, these 4-year acceptances are debt-free. So it puts them on a path of earning not just that extra $1 million in their lifetime, but another 20% over that. And for us, that's a house, that's a business, that's keeping their parents out of medical debt. And it's very good work. And so we're looking to expand that and provide more of our services to students who are calling us every day who we can't serve right now in our flagship program. Thank you.
Further questions? Thank you very much. Next, we'll hear from Drew Martin, Loxahatchee Sierra Club, followed by Merites Quinto. Okay, Drew is not here. We'll catch him later, maybe. Okay, next we will have Merites Quinto from FNA Southeast Region Director, and followed by Sheila Jo Gaines.
Thank you, Madam Chair. That's too loud. Good afternoon, Madam Chair, and to our legislative delegation committee. Thank you so much for the opportunity to speak to you today. I am here on behalf of the Florida Nurses Association. My name is Merites Quinto, Florida Nurses Association Southeast Region Director. I want to personally say thank you first for all your support, for supporting the citizens of Florida. I want to say thank you for supporting healthcare policies and for advocating for our nurses. Senator Powell is not here, but last year Florida Nurses Association gave an appreciation award to Senator Powell for his continuous support for funding the Florida Center of Nursing, and we are forever thankful for that. And this is why I'm here today, for the continuous funds that we needed for the Florida Center of Nursing. And this is the reason why everyday nurses are faced with a lot of challenges. Surgical smoke evacuation law is needed. We need to protect our workplace. We need to protect our providers, and I'm speaking also for the doctors that are not here today. I'm speaking for our patients. This is greatly needed in our workplace. For our advanced practice nurses, we have achieved our autonomous option, but then we are still not practicing independently. We are still restricted to practice, and this delays the care that we can provide to the community. The direct nurses who are working at the bedside, they are every day faced with workplace violence. They take in verbal abuse, physical abuse from patients and family members, and safe delegation is a problem. We are also faced with staffing shortages, as you probably would know. And so Florida Center of Nursing is greatly needed because the Florida Center of Nursing allows us to evaluate our initiatives, support a nursing workflow. This monitors what we do and how we can support our nurses. We are thankful that you are always here and always available to support us, but we ask for your continuous funding. Thank you again for advocating for the community of Florida and for the nurses. Thank you.
Any questions, comments? Thank you very much. I appreciate your being here. Next, we'll hear from Sheila Jo Gaines, the COO of Trinity Counseling Center of Florida, followed by Risa McCarraher. Do we have Sheila Jo Gaines? Nope. All righty. Next, we'll have Risa McCarraher.
Okay, good morning. Thank you for having me. My name's Risa McCarraher. I'm a resident of Western Lake Worth. I'm here today to ask for your support for HB 259 and SB 270. This problem not only affects my neighborhood, but it is also a problem that affects the entire state. To give you a little background, when I moved to my agricultural residential community, 5-acre lot, nearly 10 years ago, I became concerned with the amount of gunfire I was hearing. One night after dark, there was gunfire on the vacant wooded lot property abutting my house. And it sounded very close and also like automatic gunfire. I called the sheriff, and as I was concerned that the bullets could potentially be passing into my yard and into my children's bedroom or into my pasture where my livestock was. I knew that this property had no berm or other safety precautions in place. I was told by the deputies there was nothing they could do. I was appalled. I said, "So you have to wait for someone to be injured or killed?" And they said, "Unfortunately, until that happens, nothing will be done." During the last several years, the amount and frequency of gunfire has come and gone, and we have tried to live as safely as possible. On Sunday, December 18th, while riding horses with my children and husband and my neighbor along the canal bank, we heard gunfire. We knew it was somewhere close, and all of a sudden, bullets began to fly past our head. Knowing that calling the police, we'd have no recourse, I reached out to the owner of the property, to which I was told, "I know who the F you are, no bullets left my property." There were a few other incidents in my community which my neighbors will speak about. We are here today to ask for your support for HB 259 and 270 Senate bill. They are very small steps towards making it safe for us. I would love to see it that a requirement of a berm or backstop be added. That seems fairly reasonable, that if you are going to shoot your gun, you have the required safeguards in place to keep the bullets on your property. This statute allows anyone to shoot any weapon they like on their property of at least 1 acre, with no regard to the neighboring property owner's safety. I am asking that you support these bills and please petition for the berm or backstop. Thank you.
Any questions, please, members? Thank you. Next, we'll hear from Linda Zur, followed by Nikki Adams.
Hi, thanks for having us.
Thank you.
I want to thank Senator Berman for supporting us and Catherine Waldron for listening to us.
Pull the microphone a little closer.
There?
Thank you.
Better?
Better. Thank you.
So I'm here for the same bills as Risa. I have 10-acre farm in the same neighborhood in Lake Worth, and was in the back of my barn, and I had AR-15 bullets coming into my barn. This has been going on for over a year. I talked to the neighbor 3 or 4 times. He told me the same words she said, "Go F yourself. I can do what I want on my own property." I called the police the last time, and they picked up the green bullets, the green tip bullets, which I know are controversial across the United States. And the one thing I want to talk about is this is not a Democrat or a Republican issue. It's a people issue. It's a human rights issue. It's a property rights issue. I am a Republican. I believe that we need to do something. I don't want to be in my backyard anymore. I can't be. I have horses. There's children's. It's terrible. It's scary. When you see a bullet laying in your barn, I want you to support the bill. I hope you do. And we've asked our own commissioner in our own district, Sarah Baxter, for help, and she won't touch it because she's a Republican. And I'm really sorry to hear that. Thank you. I hope you support us.
Thank you. Any questions? No. Next, we'll hear from Nikki Adams, followed by Meg Weinberger.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Senator Lori and Representative Waldron. Thank you so much for putting this bill together. On September 10th, Sunday afternoon, I was at my farm taking care of my animals. My neighbor was shooting aggressively. I called my husband because the neighbor across the canal's horse, that's 38 years old, was bucking, and I thought it got hit by one of the bullets. Then I see my trees getting hit with bullets. I walk to my pavilion, and as I'm on the phone with my husband, I get struck in my back. I go flying 4 feet. I call 911, concerned tremendously for my animals, my horses, my cows, my family. 911 comes out. They go to the Country Joe's neighboring property across the canal that has been notified several times that their bullets. You guys have a packet that we submitted. In that packet, the first few pages are, you can see the weaponry that was target shooting. That table in that packet is 950 feet away from where I was shot, and the weapons there, most of them are 2,700 feet per second bullets. Luckily, the .45 caliber that hit my back lost its velocity by the time it got to me, and when it hit me and I flew 4 feet into my pavilion, it stopped. This has nothing to do with gun rights. The person that is shooting irresponsibly, they're the ones that are going to ruin gun rights. This has everything to do with safety and property rights. This property that we purchased is to plant our nonprofits' roots in the ground. I'm an angel mom with Place of Hope. It works with foster kids aging out of the foster system. We built this 8-stable barn that I can no longer rent because nobody wants to put their horses on my property. Nobody can come onto my property unless they sign a waiver now saying that they are exposed to Florida Statute 790-15, which allows people to shoot on their property. When I built this barn, I had to go through 3 different permit processes: zoning, ERM, Department of Environmental Services, just to build this barn. However, if you want to shoot on your property, there are no regulations. You do not have to have a backstop. You do not have to have a berm. There is nothing protecting me from the table of weapons that you see on that spot. The neighbors that we addressed do not care. They have continued to shoot. I have videos from last night that I had to hide in my barn because from the hours of 4 o'clock to 6:30, they were aggressively shooting still. I have no protection for my family, for the guests on my property, for my livestock. This has nothing to do with gun rights. We shoot actively. We own guns. We are for this, the Second Amendment, but we also are for safety. If you get in your car and you drive, there is a speed limit to protect people around you. It's a guideline that needs to be taken. Thank you.
Thank you.
I have a question.
I have a question. Senator Roth.
Thank you. A couple thoughts. These pictures that are taken, you have 3 photos together of AR-15s and other weapons on a table. Who took those pictures and what is?
That's from my police report.
That's from the police report. So the
Yeah.
police report took these pictures at the adjacent property?
Correct.
Is the adjacent property, did you say it was Country Joe?
Correct. They've been notified. There's also another police report, April 22nd, that I called 911 because their bullets had left. So they were notified that their bullets were leaving their property. and they continued. You could also see the backstop. They have a small 4 to 5 foot dirt pile, and then there is a wood target shooting. Right behind that wood target shooting is my property. You see my tree lines. So there's nothing behind that wood target. That is 350 feet from my tree line. And there's nothing behind that but open space.
Chair, can I ask another question?
Follow up.
Thank you, Chair. So what is the backstop made of?
There is no backstop as to where I was hit. There is
I
some
can see
dirt.
something in the picture.
There's dirt to the right, and then to the left, there is a wood piece, almost looks like a wood horse with targets on it. Those are the targets that they were shooting, and there's an open clearing. My property is directly behind that open clearing. They have 80 acres of property. They also run a nursery. They have access to plenty of dirt. They've been shooting. I have about 7 other neighbors that have experienced their gunfire, their explosives. I've approached them. They want nothing to do with me. They said, "You're still breathing." So it's not like I could say, "Hey neighbor, please, can you shoot the other way?" They don't want to have anything to do with it. They said, "It's our property. Go F yourself."
One more question.
One more question.
So
Recognized.
you have several people here on the same issue. Who is the contact person that we should contact if we want more information?
As far as this incident,
Mm-hmm.
you could contact me directly, or Senator Berman and Representative Waldron are putting forward this bill that is going to be property rights that says your bullets cannot leave your property.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Representative Waldron, you're recognized.
I don't have any questions. I just wanted to make a comment, and that is, I think this is, as she said, it's not a gun bill. We're just trying, it's very simple. It just says, keep your bullets on your property. And that should not be a hard ask to do. And, you know, if there's a berm there and the bullets are still going by, then obviously that's the berm that needs to be fixed. So, you know, I can't imagine living under these conditions where you don't know if you're walking to your car, you're going to get hit by a gun, a bullet. So it's been frustrating for law enforcement, which is why Sheriff Bradshaw and the Volusia County Sheriff are backing it, and we hope to get some other sheriffs backing it too, because it's frustrating for them. They have no ability to enforce this, and that's what this does. And we're hoping that we get a lot of support and bipartisan support. So thank you for coming to speak.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Follow-up question. Oh,
Really quick, what was your name? Nikki Adams. And just a statement, Madam Chair. I just want to say thank you for your courage to come up here and tell your story and just be so confident in it. I truly admire that. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you all.
thank you. Next, we'll hear from Meg Weinberger, followed by CTO Monica Lewis from Palm Beach Sheriff's Office.
Hi, good afternoon. I'm Meg Weinberger. I'm friends with some of the ladies that live out in West Lake Worth. I also live on a 15-acre farm. I just on record wanted to say I'm a committed constitutionalist, a firm supporter of the Second Amendment, and every law-abiding gun owner knows gun safety. Common sense requires you to know what you're shooting downrange and the importance. You know, it's unfortunate that it takes a law to protect residents from irresponsible gun owners. So I think it's a reasonable response. So thank you for your support.
Thank you. Question, Senator Berman.
Comment. Thank you, Madam Chair. And I want to thank all 4 of the speakers who just came up. They came to our office and raised this issue, and Rep. Waldron and I put together legislation to address it. And like they said, this is a, you know, common sense safety issue. It's not a bipartisan issue. It's not a gun issue. It's a keep your bullets on your property. And we're going to bring this forward in the legislature, and we hope that we will get co-sponsors from our fellow Palm Beach County delegation. Law enforcement came to my office along with these women, and law enforcement said to us, our hands are tied right now by the Florida legislature. There is nothing we can do. They can bring a civil action, but there is no criminal charges, even for being hit by a bullet, as Nikki was. So I think we need to address this situation, and I hope we can get the delegation to support us on this issue. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we'll hear from Monica Lewis, and then we will go to additional public comment who's come in.
Thank you so much. I'm Monique Lewis. I'm a communications training officer with Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office. My colleague here is Jennifer Dana. She's our section manager. We're here today in front of you guys for a very important cause, something that we're very passionate about, and we're seeking to be recognized as 911 public safety telecommunicators as first responders. In the world of emergency response, every second counts. 911 public safety telecommunicators are the first contact in times of crisis, and they're reassuring voices on the other end of the line when our community is facing life-threatening situations. We are the silent heroes who play a pivotal role in saving lives every day within our industry. We are the lifelines of the emergency response system and the calm voices in the chaos. On November 14th this year, Sheriff Chitwood of Volusia County Sheriff's Office took a significant step forward in our cause by officially proclaiming that 911 public safety telecommunicators as first responders. He rightfully stated in his proclamation that 911 public safety telecommunicators play a critical role in public safety. He acknowledged that our profession requires special training, special skills, and we gather vital information to make split decisions. He also acknowledged that we're subjected to graphic photographs, also graphic audio, live streaming of emergency scenes, and he recognized that we have to handle answering thousands of calls each year. Often citizens from experiencing the worst days of their lives. I think we heard some similar stories in that fashion as well this afternoon. We hear the cries of devastation, screams for help, and we're the support systems that cope with the loss of loved ones. This proclamation is not merely symbolic, it reflects the reality of us being the backbone of our public safety infrastructure. In our field, we face significant challenges, and perhaps the most pressing one is employee retention. The demanding nature of our work, coupled with the emotional toll of repeatedly handling high-stress situations, it takes its toll on our mental health, emotional well-being, and the burnout rate is high. We risk losing these dedicated individuals who are the heartbeat of our emergency response system. And by recognizing public safety telecommunicators as first responders, we not only honor the service, but also pave the way for improved support systems, training, and mental health resources. I urge this esteemed delegation to acknowledge the vital role of public safety telecommunicators as first responders and to stand with Sheriff Chitwood along with the countless others who understand the gravity of our work. And of course, with the stories that we just heard this afternoon, I hope that this delegation can support us so we can support our citizens and support our people. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Question?
It's more of a statement.
Okay, Representative Costello, you're recognized.
Some of you know I was in the fire service for 30-plus years as a firefighter, and I can tell you from experience that when we got called out at 2, 3 in the morning, you were the vital connection between the incident and what our mission was. And I can't thank you enough. The details, the description saved many lives from the dispatchers giving the information, passing that on to the rigs that were responding. So I thank you for that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I do want to announce before we go into further public comment with that, if anybody else wants to comment, please fill out one of these blue sheets. But I do want to recognize, we do have staff from Senator Tina Polsky's office. Would you please stand? We have staff from Tina Polsky's office. Shana Cohen and Cariana. Okay, good. And do we have anybody from Senator Bobby Powell's office? Diane Andre. Okay.
Chair, if I could have an indulgence, I forgot to introduce my aides.
Okay,
So would
Representative Roth,
did
please.
Terry Mitzi just step out? She was there just a second ago. So Terry Mitzi, everybody knows her in the Glades, and Will Ponsel, is he still in the audience? He is my aide. I can't believe I screwed up that bad.
And who is here from Representative Caruso's office? Walter is here.
And Ava.
And Ava, okay. We've got, so if you're in their district and you need to something for them to know, please see their staff, okay? Thank you. Thank you for that reminder, Senator Berman. Okay, now we're going to go to the open public comment. And we'll start with Tom Gallagher on behalf of the Hanley Foundation.
Thank you. Madam Chairman and ladies and gentlemen, thank you for this opportunity. I'm Tom Gallagher. I'm a member of the Board of Directors of the Hanley Foundation. And I want to thank you, most of all, for the generosity and support to Hanley's mission to create a world free of addiction. Today I'm joined by our CEO, Dr. Rachel Dosical. Together we thank you for the two $1.5 million grants. You've made it possible for us to change minds and to save lives. Our focus is research, education, prevention, advocacy, and our focus is supported by the Hanley Foundation. Very soon we will be returning to the treatment side of addiction, and I'll speak about that in a second. Addiction, as you know, is a national scourge. It knows no demographics, young or old, affluent or not, highly educated or not, poet, pilot, banker, lawyer, doctor, nurse, day laborer. They're all vulnerable. Addiction strikes with a cold indifference. It knows no geography. Addiction destroys lives. Worse, it takes lives, snuffs them out. It corrodes families, friendships, corporations, communities. Addiction is a pale rider, a destroyer of precious human capital. More than 100,000 people died of unnecessary drug overdoses last year. I'm reminded that's twice as many who died in the Vietnam War. At Hanley, we don't judge. That's important. That's an important difference. At Hanley, we do not believe that addiction is a moral failing or a character flaw. We believe that addiction is a disease. And as a disease, its pathology can be defeated, it can be overcome by some of the best medical and behavioral sciences. Defeated by the kinds of science that Hanley Foundation has developed and pioneered over the past 40 years. So we intend to grow and propagate this approach, this science, from West Palm Beach. Early next month, we intend to reacquire the Hanley Treatment Center. Nearly a decade ago, Hanley Foundation and Hanley Treatment Center were separated, and the treatment center was ultimately acquired by a for-profit owner. With the assistance of our generous foundation donors, hardworking staff and board, and funding from a local bank, we will return Hanley Center to its legacy founders later this year. With a treatment center, we can resume the clinical activity that supports our research. We can help train the best doctors and counselors. We can create a center of excellence for addiction treatment here in Palm Beach County, for the southern part of Florida, perhaps nationwide as others. So we have no specific ask except for your support of this undertaking of ours, because we've got lots of buildings to renovate, buildings to build, scholarships to fund, and talented professionals to attract, to make a world that's free of addiction. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Rarely do we get thanked without an ask. It's delightful. Thank you. There are so many needs out there. There is no doubt about that. Next, we'll hear from Deirdre Krause, speaking on nursing.
Good afternoon, and thank you for allowing me to speak today to you. Let me begin by saying thank you for the continued funding for the Florida Center for Nursing. It is so vitally needed. Nursing is America's best healthcare secret. And according to Gallup, the most trusted profession since 1999, dropped once in 2001 to the New York Fire Department in 2001. But most importantly, nursing in Florida has a covenant with over 21.5 million residents to deliver health care. Although medicine is the science of disease and pathology, nursing is the science of health and wellness. Nurse practitioners are blessed to be able to practice both. What nursing does best is helping people to health, and this is a more effective, cost-effective approach to health care. We do well working in teams and may be able to delegate some of these nursing activities smartly and high-mindedly, but nurses must be involved with that process. We know what is needed for health care. We must follow the National Academy of Medicine, formerly known as the Institute of Medicine, recommendations on how to improve the nation's healthcare system. Their recommendation for nursing: it is imperative that the nursing profession be able to practice to the extent of the education received. This is most significant when we're looking at the health of a community. Historically, nursing's role in community issues, yellow fever, TB, influenza, HIV, and recently the pandemic, nursing's role is transformative. With the realignment of the Department of Health that occurred secondary to the loss of state funding, many positions with primary care was lost, and we need to reestablish the funding using care or other funding sources to provide those outreach services for health care. The Florida Department of Health must have a coordinated response with the emergency management services and assure necessary resources, human and material. We cannot afford to have what happened in COVID again. Viruses are still out there and still going to happen. Nurses need to have a voice and involved in that process of the coordinated services. We are diversely educated in critical thinking. School health needs to have nursing oversight. Children are getting sicker, child obesity up 20%. Nurses are the best ones that are instrumental in dealing and coordinating healthcare services. In closing, I would like to stress that nurses must be at the table to discuss these very important healthcare issues for all the people in the state of Florida. When considering bills that address health care, there should always be a nurse consulted, as we are the cornerstone of health care. We are here for you so that you can be there to help us reach that covenant that we have for health care delivery for the population of the state of Florida. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Next, we'll hear from Cynthia Tagliaferri, again on nursing.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, Senator Harrell. Good to see you again. Thank you for having me today, all of you today. My name is Cynthia Tagliaferri. I'm a registered nurse, a doctor of nursing practice, and I'm a member of the Florida Nurses Association. I'm also among the 34,000 constituent nurses in Palm Beach County alone that need your support. Firstly, thank you again so much for funding the Florida Center for Nursing, and we are asking for the recurring funding of the center. Among other things, the center is responsible for and dedicated to studying the supply and demand of our state's nursing needs. This is necessary and so very valuable in making evidence-based projections that promote a strong and safe nursing workforce for the populations that we both serve. In addition to South Florida's continuous surge in population, which burdens our already underserved elder adult population, we also continue to scramble to manage the crippling effects of our state's opioid and fentanyl crisis and escalating behavioral health problems in our schools and in our communities. We desperately need your support with increased registered nurse staffing, namely acuity-based nurse-patient ratios. This helps patient-safe nursing for all of our populations. We also need prosecution legislation that protects against workplace violence and escalating an emergent problem in our profession. It's just, we're losing nurses every day at the bedside to the threat of workplace violence. It's just not safe anymore, and it's impacting our ability to retain nurses at the bedside. Lastly, we ask for your support to protect and enhance the ability of registered nurses and the advanced practice registered nurses to practice to the fullest extent of their education and experience in all practice environments, including telehealth. Telehealth will better equip us to bridge the gap of the healthcare provider shortage, particularly the primary care setting, to reach and better serve our populations throughout the entire state of Florida. So I look forward to seeing you again in Tallahassee during session, and thank you again for the recurring funding for the Florida Center for Nursing and for your continued support of the nursing profession.
Thank you. You're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just a quick comment on the nurses. Having sitting on the Board of Trustees of the JFK Hospital, nursing always came up at our board meetings, and you are the nerve center of any hospital that you work in, and much appreciated for what you do. I had a sister who was a nurse and wasn't being heard with some of the suggestions, so she went on to medical school, became a doctor. So it was a plus. But I just, in closing, I just want to say that you have a big advocate up there in Mr. Jack Corey. He walks those hallways, knocks on those doors, visits those offices, advocating for the nursing profession. So you're very lucky to have him.
Yes, thank you so much, Representative Costello. It's great to see you today.
Yes.
And thank you for your service. And we appreciate Jack Corey very much. You know, he's really helped us a lot in the profession, as have you. And we look forward to your continued support. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Representative Gossett-Seidman.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair. I just wondered, it's okay if you could come back. No worries, just a quick question, if I could. I have many nurses and other medical care professionals in my immediate and extended family, and so I understand a little bit about it. But could you provide, it's terrible to hear that there's workplace violence against nurses and other hospital and medical staff. And could you, without giving exact examples, could you provide some examples of that and maybe other issues, some real life examples of what you're involved with that is, you know, having your group really forthcoming into asking our help? Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Representative Berman. You know, nurses have notoriously invited families and people that are there with patients into the, you know, the healthcare setting. And oftentimes, because of the stress that families are going through and patients are going through while they're at their most vulnerable positions, oftentimes there's an inability for them to cope with some of the decisions that have to be made. There are no, currently, there's no legislation that prevents or that for prosecution when things do get out of hand. And with the behavioral health issues that we're seeing, the growing behavioral health issues, it's becoming a real problem at the bedside. So I have personally witnessed nurses being assaulted. And besides the person being removed from the hospital setting, there usually are no charges being pressed. And so nurses are in a very vulnerable position, and they're basically putting their lives on the line. So, you know, we are, you know, your front line when it comes to healthcare. We proved that during COVID, and we'll continue to prove that. But we need your support and your help with some legislation for prosecution when we are in these positions.
Follow-up?
Follow-up.
Thank you. Just wondering if the current laws for assault and battery on the books do not protect you then?
Not enough. I'll say that, not enough.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Representative Skidmore, you have a question.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you so much for being here. Is there legislation that is being filed that would add this protection in statute for nurses? I recall having your group visit me in my office in Tallahassee, and I think that there is a bill, or at least there was maybe last year, if you could let me know.
There was a bill. I don't believe it was passed, and we're currently looking to continue to have your support for workplace violence. It is something that you may hear about again during session. We will certainly be there to come and visit you and educate you on it during session. And yes, we definitely need these bills passed in order that there be prosecution, you know, against anybody that assaults a nurse while she's doing her service.
Thank you very much.
His or her service.
Or his.
Thank you.
Or his. Thank you. Next, we'll hear from Dr. Charlene Ford from West Tech.
Good afternoon. I am Dr. Charlene Ford, principal of the Glades Construction Academy at West Tech and West Technical Education Center, which both are commonly referred to as West Tech. Regardless by which name is used, it is the place where you learn to earn. Today I come before you to say thank you for your support that you have provided to West Tech, with a specific emphasis on the years of my tenure, which began in March of 2017. The citizens of the Glades region have been able to benefit from your support through the allocation of appropriation funds that have been utilized to start and enhance programs focused on adult workforce training, skills acquisition, and industry certification and licensure. The primary areas in which the funds have been expended are the purchase of program equipment, instructional materials and supplies, instructor wages and training, and student scholarships. West Tech has used the dollars to support the establishment of a commercial vehicle driving program, which required approval through the U.S. Department of Transportation as well as the state of Florida. I am proud to share with you that West Tech is the only publicly operated CDL training and testing center in Palm Beach County. Once a student successfully completes the program at West Tech, he or she can pick up his or her driver's license from this DMV and is licensed for employment. Funds also assisted with securing program accreditation through the Council on Occupational Education for our home health aid, phlebotomy, and commercial driver programs. Becoming an approved CDL training and testing center, as well as receiving national accreditation, were multi-year processes supported by past appropriations. An appropriation request for FY25 has been submitted as a part of the school district's packet, and this particular appropriation is to aid West Tech with continuing to offer quality adult workforce training that will lead to gainful employment by the citizens of the Glades region and those throughout Palm Beach County that attend our school. In turn, my ask of you today is for your support for the FY25 appropriation request, and as we try to secure the necessary approval for that. And again, really, I just came to say thank you for all of your past support of West Tech. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Comment?
Representative Skidmore, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Dr. Ford, it's wonderful to see you.
Nice seeing
Thank you so much. You must be so proud of all the accomplishments that West Tech has made. I know I'm very proud to have worked with you and made sure that we were able to get the funding for your school. And the CDL program is amazing, and everyone should know about it if you don't already. Just wanted to say thank you for everything you do for not just the Glades, but for all the students in West Palm who have access to that program. We're really proud of it.
Thank you. Without you all, trust me, it could not have happened. Thank you.
Thank you for being here. Next, we'll hear from Larry Rain from ChildNet.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is a brief annual update on the status of foster care in Palm Beach County. Things are good, but they are not great. ChildNet is within our budget, but just barely there, but staying there. Our census, number of children, foster care in Palm Beach County is as low as it's been in 10 years, but it is starting to creep up. And I just want to put that on the radar, and in particular, we are starting to see an increase in children entering care because of their behavioral health care needs. This is very concerning. We are already working with the managing entity, Southeast Florida Behavioral Health, to try to get at what is causing that. Our families not getting what they need early enough in terms of behavioral health care services. Performance is good. The department will be releasing its report card in December to the legislature. I have not honestly seen how we compare, but Dennis Miles, who some of you know, shared some inside information. I believe our region, which includes Palm Beach, Broward, and the Treasure Coast, I believe we will be first in the state. Palm Beach County, I believe, will be third in the state among all the counties or circuits. So we're doing well, but there's areas for improvement, and I don't want anybody to think otherwise. My bigger concern, or not my equal concern, is the statewide approach that the Department of Children and Families is increasingly taking towards child welfare and foster care and other social services in the state of Florida. The way I see it, this is my personal opinion at this point, they're increasingly trying to treat community-based care, foster care, and related services as they treat at the Agency for Healthcare Administration Medicaid managed care. And our business and our agencies and our service providers are much different, and that model doesn't fit the way we operate. We are nonprofit. Managed care organizations are for-profit. We want fewer families. They want to serve more families. There are significant differences, and we really need to guard against that approach increasingly coming in. And I believe the department has already informed a piece of legislation that moves in that direction and may inform others going forward. So I just want to put that out there so that when we all come to talk to all of you, because there's no delegation more supportive of community-based care than this one, that you have a little heads up of why we're coming and what we're coming to talk about. So thank you all very much.
Thank you. Question?
Yeah.
Representative Skidmore, questions.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you for being here. And I'm struggling with how I'm going to articulate this question, but I saw recently on the news that the statewide organization that handles foster care for DCF is not going to renew its contract. I know it's not you, but can you tell us what that does, how that impacts you?
It was not the statewide
It was
organization. It was the organization like ours in the Orlando area.
Okay, okay.
And
Yeah, it was Embrace in Orlando.
Oh, that's what it
They're no longer going to, they have made the decision, they are no longer going to continue. So the state DCF will let the contract, and people, various CBCs or other entities will have the opportunity to bid on it, to put in an application for it.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
And if I just might add, it's a very tough business. You all know that, any of you that we've spoken with. And we've all gone through our troubles. ChildNet is here because our predecessors 12 years ago had troubles they couldn't overcome. ChildNet itself almost disappeared in Broward 8 years ago. So it's a very tough business, and Embrace could not turn it around. But I think the solutions need to be local ones. The community needs to, we survived because of community support, quite frankly. It wasn't ChildNet, it was everybody helping support ChildNet get through a difficult time. And that's the way we need to do it. Unfortunately, that didn't happen in the Orlando area.
Yeah.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Further questions? No, thank you very much for being here. Next, we'll hear from Rachel Litt. Rochelle, oh, pardon me.
Thank you. And again, I also have thanks with no ask.
Thanks with no ask.
As the former mayor of the city of Palm Beach Gardens, I just want to thank you all for the work that you do on our behalf and for representing the constituents and the municipalities. It's not easy going back and forth to Tallahassee and disrupting your lives and the lives of your families to do that for us. Representative Roth represented us while I was on council for 6 years, and I wanted to thank you all for that. I'd like to issue a personal thank you to Representative Waldron and Senator Berman for the resolutions they brought forward on behalf of the State of Israel at this special session. Both resolutions passed unanimously, and it was very important that they were heard in the legislature, so thank you for that. And I'd like to thank Senator Harrell for taking a lead on addressing the healthcare worker shortage in the state of Florida. Yes. As a pharmacist who's married to a physician, I understand what an important issue this is for our state, and we definitely have to address that. So, thank you.
Thank you very much for being here. And to address the healthcare issue, since we've heard from our nurses very clearly about the shortage of nurses, and also we have a significant shortage of physicians as well as general healthcare practitioners across the state. The state of Florida is very concerned about that, and the Senate President has made her initiative of this year called Live Healthy in the state of Florida. And there will be major legislation coming out next week, and you will be seeing some major advances being made in the state of Florida. And I am delighted that we're going to really look broadly across the whole healthcare enterprise to make sure that the next generation is coming into the workforce, and we'll be joining you all there. Thank you for what you do, all our nurses who are here. We've made this a major push this coming year, and you will see great things happening, I'm sure. And I'd just like to remind everybody that this is our last delegation meeting of the year. And I want to thank, first of all, every one of you all for hanging in there. We have a quorum today. I'm so glad we did get the quorum together. And I want to say to each one of you, I appreciate serving with you. It has been a delight to serve as your chair and I certainly appreciate everything you all have done. The comments and the questions have been so articulate and so important. I appreciate it. And I want to thank our staff. We have amazing staff. They keep us on the straight and narrow.
Vicky,
I
Casey.
am delighted that we have the ability to get so much done. This is a huge county when you think about it. Palm Beach County is larger than the state of Rhode Island. It has 500,000 people more than the state of Rhode Island. And this delegation works together well. We are a bipartisan delegation, but we look after the interests of Palm Beach County together. And I think that sets us apart and makes us very different. And certainly our staff helps us accomplish all that. So with that, I also want to remind everybody that the Palm Beach County Days is January 9th and 10th, that crazy first week of session. And I love it when Palm Beach County comes up to Tallahassee. Now, it's going to be very cold. It was 29 today in Tallahassee. So be prepared, bring your warm clothes, and do come see us in Tallahassee. January 9th and 10th. We welcome you all and would love to have many of you come and visit in Tallahassee. And with that, let me see. Senator Berman moves we adjourn. We are adjourned.
Thank you, Senator Berman.
After grilling, chilling, or just enjoying the pool, don't forget to do the right thing by properly disposing of propane tanks, pool chemicals, and pesticides. These items should not be thrown away with the regular garbage. Drop them off at one of 7 Solid Waste Authority home chemical and recycling centers in Palm Beach County. Find your nearest location at swa.org/h